Just like to show you this. It's a pine tree, obviously, but you notice these furry things on it. I don't know what it is that lays it, but that's the caterpillar that comes out. Now that nest is full of them, and you're talking dozens, and they're up in that tree as well, lots of them. But if you can see this tree, quite a few on it. Mara's huffing and puffing going past there, and oh, you can see another caterpillar munching away in the pines. A weir one there, smaller one there, smaller one there, and then a couple of gianties. And you can see obviously they think it's spring and the caterpillar are coming out. Now when they come out, they all drop in the ground, and it's like a big train. And hopefully I'll be able to show you them. It's normally you see them in the morning. They're pretty small actually. They're usually big, but you see them on the ground and they're just trotting along the ground one after the other, maybe 20-30 of them, all following each other like a train on the road. Well, that one up there is, they're all piling out of that one, look. And they all seem to drop on the ground and meet up and form a train. And it's just like a train set. Hopefully one morning when it's damp I'll be able to see them and let you see it. But until then I'll let you see what the weather's like today, 30th of January 2020, and although there are nice sun rays across there, it's pretty cold. It's been raining on and off today, not a lot of rain, but that's what it's like. That's the village of Lardos down there. But I'll catch you later. I'll need to go and find my dog. Remember I mentioned these before, which will be at the start of this video. These pods hanging from the trees are laid by something. If you see that one up there, there's caterpillars in it, like I showed the last time, and they come down like a train. Well, here they are here, going across the road. The caterpillars that come out it, and it's just like a train. Isn't it amazing? Follow my leader, and it just looks like a train going over the Rockies. I don't know if the lead one's anything special. Doesn't really look like it. They all look the same to me. But they're all trogging along. No defined track. And although they're just about touching some of them, there is a gap. Now whether they're following the one front or it's by scent, I don't know. Sure, caterpillars have got eyes. But I don't know what these turn out to. But I have been told by the vet, if my dog eats one, it can kill it. It's very sick. So there's a train that's just meandering. It's coming along to this sand bed here that has all the shells that I've showed you previously embedded in it. Oh, just a little limpet shells, clam type shells. They're all over this bit here. And this is where the choo-choo is going. Oh, maybe changed their mind. I don't know why it would turn there. Well, it seems to be looking for something, that front one, doesn't it? It's Sunday, March the 8th, 2020. And it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 2 hours ahead of UK time. And I'm out with the dog, but I'm keeping Mara tied up well away here. so she doesn't gobble them up, because Mara's got a tendency to eat anything that moves or doesn't move. But I thought you'd like to see this. I knew I would see them one day, usually in the morning when they're out and about, but as they're coming from this side of the road, the track, it's obviously they've came from the big hanging pads that are across here. Can you see them? And they've wound themselves all the way across here. I'm just watching where I'm standing in case there's more. But do you see the pads, the pods up here? They're just like spider webs, and they're fully twigs and everything. And that's where they're obviously laid with whatever it is that lays them. You might be getting the sun in straight into that and you'll be able to see it. Sorry. There, they're up there. One up there, and you can see the furthest away one up there. You see the caterpillar crawling about it, and this closest one, caterpillar crawled. So they've no all dropped out, or this lot are just one pod that drops at the same time, and obviously made its way across here. Through this grass, moss, and there they're across there. God, two things in the afternoon. Big squaddy pigs rooting about near the village, and then the train of caterpillars. I see they've come back on track again. They've swung back round, and it's obviously heading across the road. Don't know why they're going that way, because there's all the pods are in all these trees along this side as well. Maybe it's a two-way track and they'll meet one coming the other way. Church bells ringing. Sunday afternoon. Don't think they're a service. They rung this morning for the service, but this afternoon they're just ringing. It's down in that direction. Mara, stay there. Mara's got loose. She's pulled her leash across, so I'll need to move because I don't want her gobbling one of these caterpillars. This way, this way. So I'll finish it now. Catch you later. Cheers. Hi, we're just further along the road, and you can see the yellow ring of pollen. When this had water in it, it was all floating in it, but when it's dried up, which is just over a couple of days, it leaves the residue, the pollen of all the trees, because everything at the minute is blooming and bursting into leaf and flower, and there's pollen everywhere. So if you suffer from hay fever, this would be a drastic time of year for you here. This is just further round the road of, I just came over that hill up there where I stopped and spoke about the goats, because there's the sea down there that I did take a picture on the right hand side of the Lindos Peninsula. So I just thought I'd let you hear what I can hear is Mara puffing and panting here, straining on the leash, and blackbird. It's fantastic when you always stop, you say, listen to the blackbird, and it stops. Oh my god. But it's just, apart from that, it's just silent. The wind's dropping a wee bit, and it's sheltered here. And I'm starting to sing again. I think it's because I've stopped. He's over there somewhere. I was just thinking the old Irish song, 40 Shades of Green. My god, they're all here, eh? Look at that. Fantastic. Still hazy sunshine, but it's really warm. And apart from the blackbird and Mara panting, you can hear the bees. It's just a constant bzzz. They're all humming about, all the plants and all the catkins and whatever it is that comes out. You can see the conifers here are just producing. There's the old conifers, and there's the new ones coming on. And they're like catkins. They'll drop all these seed pod there to spread about the place. And there's the wild onions that I call them. It's a huge bulb, like an onion bulb. It's not onion, it doesn't smell or taste like onion. Not that I've tasted it, but it's just like a big bulb that you would get like an onion. And there are different types, and there's this one here with the big broad leaves. And there's this one along here that's got long, thinner leaves, but they produce the same sort of bulbs. So maybe one of them is wild onion and one of them just something else, or both of them are. Don't know, but you can see how green it is here, and all the grass this time of the year. It's beautiful. Although it's warming up, that grass will grow up quite tall, and then it'll die off, and then everything is burnt with the sun. And all this here will just look burnt, brown, like it was autumn going into winter back home in the UK. This is the bit of road where I showed you the train of caterpillars, and then I showed you actually a train crash of caterpillars that was here as well on another day, and it looked as though one set of the caterpillar chain had been run over by a truck, and that stopped a whole lot of them, and they all went round in a circle, and it was like a track, a proper circle, and it looked as though the caterpillars were all linked by a strand, like a spider's web strand, and that's what they followed, although I wasn't sure, but you could see it all intertwined among them. And the ones that were survived walked round in a circle, I don't know for how long, but they wore a track into the sand here, and then died in a pile. And it looked like when the lead head caterpillar got squidged with the truck, the rest of them didn't know what to do, so they just went round in a circle, and round and round and round, and went into a big pile and just died. It's crazy. And Mara's twisted round my legs again. If I stop, Mara just walked round about me. So that's my theory on it anyway, but that's what it looked like that had happened. They come off these pods here, as I've showed you in previous ones, which are still here, but they're all empty now. You can actually tell when they're living because they look quite white, and now it looks as though there's nothing in them, and all that's in them is the droppings from the caterpillars that were in there. Look at that one up there. It must have had stacks in it. And then the train come down, and all join up and then disappear wherever it is they go. Anyway, here we are overlooking the village of Lardos and the misty mountains behind it, and I always see that. And here's all the flowers that are out, all the herbs, sage here, and these little blue flowers with the daisies mixed in, and there's a couple of anemones that's still left. They're not poppies, these, they're actually anemones, and they're all shades of red through to purple, through to pink, beautiful, but they're just about finished now. I have got pictures of them when they're all out, with the dog walking through them. There she's done it again, look, she can't go down the same side. So I'll just do a wee slow spin, get back on track. And this is another herb that's flowering in there. I don't quite know what it is, but nice flowers. They've got these ones and they've got white ones, but I think they're the same herb. But they've got a funny smell. They don't smell of anything that I know. And these ones with the purple, these are all sage, strong smelling. But look at the shades of green and where they got the song from. Fantastic, isn't it? Every shady green you could imagine. And that mountain face, which is part of the bowl that surrounds the village. And across the other side is Lindos, like I said before. But when we get down to the bottom here, we're getting near the village again, so I'll let Mara off for a run. It's just that I'm always aware that the goats and the sheep have got lambs and kids, and although Mara is a nice friendly dog that would lick you to death, she's never seen them before. She's seen the goats plenty of times, and always make it sure that she realises that she doesn't chase them. However, when she's off the lead, if a wee kid run across the road, I think natural instinct might kick in and she would go for them. However, I might be wrong in that, but I don't think you can do much with instinct. Anyway, she's, because I've slowed down to talk, she's at the pool now, so she'll start pulling and jerking about. So I'll just catch you later once I let her off. Cheers. Well, here we are at the bottom of the Hill of Death, with the river rock. It's all pebbles like this, and seriously bad walking, especially when Mara is pulling you. And see what's washed down for you up there. The pottery, the bits of pottery. Fantastic. And that gully up the side of it there is what the last thunderstorm was done. Because that was only just about a foot deep, and it just come down and just washed everything down here. And just washed it all away, taking out the side of the road. And that's why the river rock's been put up there, because it washed out the middle of the road as well. Big gullies, and you can't drive up it, and people need to go up there to get to their land. They use the river rock, I gotta call it the river rock because they take out the riverbed, and it's got all the stuff from the bottom of the riverbed that the water doesn't go through. It's like a sort of a clay, claggy stuff that binds it all together. So they use that to fill the roads in, and it's quite interesting what they do. Here we're back closer to the village again, and this is the cemetery of St Michael the Archangel for the village. Beautiful, quiet place, but we're near the main road, and you hear the cars going past. You won't hear a lot of cars because we're in lockdown and they're few and far between, but in the tourist season it's just non-stop trucks, buses and scooters, hired cars bombing up and down here. But that's the village cemetery. So we're going this way, and I'll just show you these plants. I'm sure I showed you the plants before. They're beautiful. They've got nice speckly leaves, and they've got these big spikes that turn into big burgundy flowers that are beautiful, and they're like orchids, but they're called the death plant because it smells of death when the flowers come out and they open up and they're really strong, but it's the smell of death. No, because we're at the cemetery. It's wherever they grow, and they grow under all the olive trees, under all the pines, these shaded areas, and it's stinking. If you've walked past where something's been dead in the bushes, even a mouse puts off quite a strong smell in an enclosed place. So you can imagine, like say, a sheep or a goat, because when I pass up the road there's lots of them must have been dead in the bushes and that, and the smell would knock you down. And these plants give off the same smell. So whenever I'm walking and I come across the death smell, the smell of death, I always look for these, because it's not always something that's dead. It's these flowers when they come out and bloom. They're so strong, it's sickening, the smell. Anyway, we're going this way, across here with Mara. Mara, come on in. And this is just cutting off the corner down there, and taking a shortcut through the field. This is where a lot of people put their cuttings, palm cuttings and bougainvillea, it looks at the thorns here, and palm fronds and everything else. And then somebody will come along sometime soon and burn it all before the end of the month. See Mara, a wee bird in there, and she knew it was in there. I don't know how. Anyway, they come and burn it and they take it away. And then from the 1st of May, you can't light fires like that because it's hot then, and the chances of forest fires are very much increased. And you can see the anemones there, a couple of shades of them. There's a couple of red ones, and there's a sort of a cerise colour. Same plants, all shades of red. Omara. And these are just daisies. And if it was back home in the UK and Scotland, it would be daisies and buttercups altogether, but they ain't buttercups. Same colour though. And you can see there's the death plant. Mara, come out of there. Under the olive tree, and there's more coming out there, and there's one there under that, and one under the one across there. Mara's eating grass, so she must have an upset stomach. And you can see that the big orchid type flowers are coming out. So soon when we walk past here, that'll be disgusting. It'll smell like something dead. There's anemones here, a wee cluster of them, different shades. This was covered on this field 2 or 3 weeks ago. Different plant here. They're beautiful. There's some small plants here, and you don't see them. They're down in among something else. And these yellow ones are shamrock or clover. I think these ones with these small flowers are clover, and I think these tall ones are shamrock. You can see it there. It's just like shamrock. And clover, of course. But they're all different sizes and varieties. So this one, where it's big leaves, got these yellow trumpet flowers on it. And they must have been out and went back in. And then there's the typical daisies. Bigger than the UK daisies. And then anemones. And this is where I'm trying to take a picture here. Mara's just pulling me. Which is, as I've said before, never work with kids and animals. Because they just don't know what you're doing. And they want to do their own thing. More anemones. It's beautiful here. Listen, you can just hear the birds singing. We're right into spring now. All the plants are all flowering. And these are olive trees here. This is an olive grove. And they produce the heads that have olives on them. And you can see them just starting to come out there. It's the new shoots, and on the end of these new shoots, it's like catkins, the flourish of the olives. They look like really small bunches of grapes, little small bunches that just look like grapes but in miniature. And that's what our Merrin olive were all last year. Not fell off or not been picked. Anyway, we're heading back to the main track, so I'll just stop it again. Cheers.